The all-new Mazda 2 launches into a segment that includes names like Jazz, Yaris, Fiesta and Polo. But just how much has changed since its predecessor? And is it enough to justify an upgrade? Now in its third generation, the new Mazda 2 builds on the modern styling and engaging drive of the highly successful second generation. And this car is particularly familiar to me because it belongs to my wife. It's easy to tell because there's scratches on all four wheels, including the non-curbside ones. So with my wife keen for an upgrade, we're here today to see whether the new Mazda 2 offers enough incentive to trade up. When the second generation Mazda 2 Max was launched, it was priced from just over $20,000 and came with 15-inch alloy wheels, body-coloured wing mirrors and door handles, and the option of stability control. Inside the cabin there's a fairly low rent feel. Some of the plastics are a bit hard and nasty. The car also didn't come with cruise control, but we did tick the option for the safety pack, which added stability control and 6 airbags. Over the years we've owned the car, my wife doesn't drive it much. It's only done around 35,000 Ks, but we've had zero mechanical issues and it's cheap to service and run, which is the crux of a small city car. Incorporating Mazda's latest Kodo design language, the new car has been sharpened with creative angles and modern flair. Starting from a cheaper $18,990, this Max model also features 15-inch alloy wheels, but like its older relative, it also misses out on front fog lights and rear disc brakes. The old car's flip key has been replaced by a proximity sensing key. However, curiously, you still need to manually press the unlock button to gain access to the car. The cabin in this new car feels much more premium. Everything from the soft touch plastics on the dashboard to the little widgets around the cabin and the great steering wheel give this car a feeling of luxury and something you wouldn't normally expect for a car in this segment. Annoyingly though, for a car that's going to spend most of its time around shopping centres and zipping through the city, the Max and the base model Neo don't come with a reversing camera or any parking sensors at all. This may have been acceptable in the old car back in 2008, but fast forward to 2015 and it really is beyond questionable. The mid-spec Max also misses out on the 7-inch touchscreen and MZD Connect, which is standard on the top-spec Genki model. Instead, you get this half unit, which in terms of functionality is almost identical to the old car we just stepped out of. The new Max comes standard with Bluetooth connectivity with audio streaming, cruise control, stability control and 6 airbags. Despite growing around 20 centimetres more than the old car, there's a slight bit less legroom here. There's also a little less headroom as well. While it's only a pet hate of mine, there are no rear air vents. Luggage space remains a small for its class 250 litres, and that's despite the car actually growing overall in terms of length. Under the bonnet of the new 2 is a more powerful 1.5 litre Skyactiv G engine that makes 81 kilowatts of power. It's also mated to a 6-speed automatic, which replaces the 4-speed in the second generation Mazda 2. But you can save $2,000 by opting for the 6-speed manual. The frustrating thing about the new Mazda 2 and the old one is the noise inside the cabin. The engine's really loud and there's a lot of road noise as well, and it doesn't need to be for such a small car. The ride and handling is pretty impressive for a little car like this, and even the old car erred on the side of sporty and firm, which the new car carries on with as well. The biggest gripe that both my wife and I had with the second generation Mazda 2 is the brakes. There's just like this dead spot before you actually get anything. That's totally improved on the new car, which is pretty impressive. You just touch the brakes and they're on straight away. There's none of that sort of foreplay before anything happens. An upgrade will also mean less time spent at the fuel bowser, with the new Mazda 2 being 30% more efficient at 4.9 litres per 100 Ks on the combined cycle. Pretty impressive, and it's also thanks to stop-start technology, which activates when the car comes to a complete stop, and then it starts again when you lift your foot off the brake. The all-new Mazda 2 is a huge step forward for the brand and takes the city car segment to new premium levels. But the lack of parking sensors and recent 4-star Euro NCAP safety rating are pretty disappointing. These things aside, the new Mazda 2 is likely to win over most buyers given its impressive package, which is bad news for me because I have to go home and tell my wife.